Hello everybody, this is Luke Godzilla fan, and today I'm going to do a toy review on the Bandai Movie Monster Series Mecha Godzilla. This was the second monster figure I bought at the Bookmass or whatever. I bought a bunch of anime stuff there, and I bought this figure and this one. These two together. Both of them were 15 euros, and I think it was a really good price because both came with their tags, so it's pretty awesome. But I already reviewed this figure, so you can check the review of this guy out. But right now we're gonna focus on the Movie Monster Series Mecha King Ghidorah. I'm gonna be honest, I thought I would never get my hands on this figure because of how, not because of how rare it is, but because of the price it goes for. I honestly would never pay more than $30, euros, or whatever for this figure because it's just not correct. I think that a lower price is better. I don't care how rare these figures are getting, they're still figures. Okay, but let's first take a look at the tag. Unlike this version of King Ghidorah, which is the repaint, which has the red tag, this one does not have it because it's Movie Monster Series. And what's ironically is that this is Movie Monster Series, which was in the 90s, like at the end of the 90s. But it has a Godzilla 2004 sticker on it, which I think leads me to believe that what they did was they just reissued this figure, the same mold and the same tag and everything in 2004, and just to differentiate, they put a sticker here. It doesn't really do much of a difference, but it's still cool nonetheless. You have an awesome picture of Godzilla, and here we have an awesome picture of Mecha King Ghidorah. The same picture here. He's apparently 140 meters, which makes him really big. He's actually bigger than Biollante, which is hard to believe, because Biollante looks so big in that movie. Okay, here we have Mecha King Ghidorah, but first I want to draw some comparison with the normal King Ghidorah. But since this is the reissue of the normal King Ghidorah, then you're always going to see some difference. For example, this one is of a more yellowish color, a lighter yellowish color, rather than this dark gold color that this one has. I'm not counting the heads or the mecha parts, I'm just talking about the normal skin of this Ghidorah. So yeah, and also one thing that you will notice, look at these eyes. The eyes here are very round and like cartoonish looking, while here it looks like they're not dots or circles, they're lines, which is kind of like the eyes of, I think, reptiles or snakes, dragons, etc. Which I like these eyes better. They look more threatening. Here he tries to look more cutesy and stuff, which I personally dislike now. I think these figures have to be menacing and threatening. In terms of sizing, they're both basically the same. It's just that this one's a little bigger because of the metallic head. And of course, the wingspan of this one is bigger because he is, line shaped. He's not, wings are not smaller, which is odd, by the way. How is it possible for King Ghidorah to even fly when his wings are, at least in the figure, his wings are actually kind of smaller than the body, if you think about it. I don't know why. Maybe they're in width, maybe they're longer. But they do look a little smaller than what they should be. I don't know. But overall, I think, I personally like this color better, so I'm planning on getting the Movie Monster Series version of this Ghidorah. But, it's still okay. So now let's just go on to the detail of this figure. So the detail and paint job, by the way, is really good. And of course, the scales are not that amazing because they just look like, like they just like cut it and put it here and stuff. Well, I don't know how to describe it. They look like normal scales. I personally like the detail on the GMK King Ghidorah, the 8-inch one. I like the scales and the skin on that one better. But overall, this is still it's still very well done. And I also personally like here, the way this is done. This looks like really cool. Inside the mouth, all three mouths are open, which is awesome. You can even look inside the mouth of this figure, of this head. It looks pretty awesome. I think the chest looks also very awesome. You can see this thing, which in the movie he grabs Godzilla with, comes out and like electrocutes him. And overall, the detail's really good. Also, my figure's a little, when I looked at it, it kind of seemed a little used, understandably, because, you know, it's in a book mass. Everybody's gonna be like, wow, look at this figure. And they're gonna be like, whoa, or something, and probably not even gonna buy it, and just probably take a look at it. So I think it looks a little used here, behind the wings, I mean. But overall, I still thought, 15 euros for Mecha King Ghidorah and Gamera 3. Is it worth it? Hell yeah, it is. I mean, when am I gonna get a chance like this again? It's very rare to get a chance like that. I'm probably gonna go to the book mass again next year. Next year. So I'm gonna go there again, probably buy some more figures. Or I'm gonna go to Berlin. There's a store there I saw on the internet that sells Godzilla figures. Awesome. So yeah, if you want, I'm gonna put a link to that website in the description. But right now we're just gonna focus on the articulation of this figure, and it's basically the same as this figure. The wings rotate, and what's really cool, like in the other one, you can have like this, then you have like, oops. Well, you obviously put the wings like this, they flap, and of course this is not like this doesn't really happen in the movie, obviously, but it's really cool because it fits on your shelf, which is very convenient. And also there was a glue seal here, but when I bought it, I was in the car, I was bored out of my mind. I decided to let's break the glue seal. It's a little stiff to move around in contrast to this one. This one's a little more smooth, which is ironic because if you take a look at these legs, with the exception of up here, they're pretty smooth to move. And here, sort of a little more stiff. I think it has to do with the material, what this one is made out of. Or maybe it's just the paint. I'm just gonna put this one like this. It's also getting annoying with the wings. Speaking of which, the wings actually do look smaller, of course. These ones are bigger, but when you put it on a shelf, these wings are a lot bigger, so it still takes a lot. If you have like a really small shelf, a long one but short, then this is probably gonna be a problem. But it's still okay. Also, I put my figure on top of the shelf. So yeah. And well, unfortunately, the heads don't move. Why do they never do that? Seriously, I mean, if you look at this, they could have put a scene over here or something, have the heads move. I'm really certain that there's definitely a glue seal here and here and here, but I don't feel like breaking them because, well, it should have these things to begin with, so yeah. So let's do some size comparison. For the sake of this review, I'm just gonna size them up with one Godzilla monster. Well, one Godzilla. And that's the, 90s Godzilla. The Godzilla that he fought. Actually, I do think that this sizing, it is not accurate. Of course, he's supposed to be this big and blah blah blah. But if you think about it, because of the mecha head, it actually looks like King Ghidorah is definitely way taller than him, which I think is awesome. And also, just for the sake of it, this ultra monster looks like Godzilla, so might as well just size him up with him. Now this is accurate scaling, at least for Godzilla standards. Looks pretty good. They both have awesome wings, by the way. Awesome. And it's also sized them up with the monster that out of his remains were created, Mecha Godzilla. Awesome. It's kind of weird to see that this later was transformed into this. At least the parts were kind of like engineered or re-engineered or something like that. And they were used into this Mecha Godzilla. So it's kind of like father and son. And let's size him up with his ally in Godzilla vs. Gigan. Also looks pretty good, I would say. But I don't remember how tall Gigan is, but this looks pretty good. They always make a nice team for some reason. I don't know, it's because they're so weird. And I love weird monsters. Now let's just size them up with Anguirus. Head's really transparent. I guess it's because of the sun. Okay, so I think Anguirus looks a little too small. I cannot be sure. I remember there was a scene in Destroy All Monsters where Anguirus like bites his tail, or was his feet? I don't remember. I've never even seen that movie. Why do I recall this? Oh well. And I think he was smaller, or he was a little bigger. I don't know. I think it's mostly Anguirus' fault. Anguirus has like this talent of switching between too small and too big. Especially in Godzilla Final Wars. I mean, like, he's really fat. Fat. Okay, let's just size him up with his last enemy. His enemy, of course, in Godzilla Final Wars and in Rebirth of Mothra. By the way, I've never seen Rebirth of Mothra, so don't ask me. It looks pretty good. Again, monsters with awesome wings. And just because I don't have anything else to scale him up with, just scale him up with Gamera. I do admit myself, this is an awesome scaling. Like, oh, fail. Good. Well, Gamera's defeated. So overall, what do I think of this figure? Well, I think this figure is pretty good. Of course, when I looked at the shelf, I'm like, wow, they have Godzilla figures? Amazing! Especially these are Bandai figures, they're not Bandai Creation figures. Nothing against Bandai Creation figures. I just think that the Bandai ones seem to be the more authentic ones. I still think Bandai Creation is a good company in trying to introduce Godzilla in the US market. But, you know, I just like Bandai a little more. A little better. So yeah, I was really surprised to see this one, especially for the price, 15 euros with tag, and yeah, it was a little used and it's a little smelly if you think about it. Yeah, it still smells a little like at that convention for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's because of all the toxic things they put there. Well, it smells toxic. I don't think it is. So yeah, let's not go off topic. So do I recommend this figure? Hell fucking yeah. This figure is awesome. Like, it has everything a King Ghidorah, okay, almost everything a King Ghidorah figure needs. Okay, it's lacking articulation in the heads and stuff, but, you know, it has what you need. The color is freaking awesome. I like the darker shade of it rather than the gold, yellowish. Okay, this one is more yellowish than gold. This one is more black, metallic, goldish shade of, you know, gold. So this figure is awesome. I recommend you totally get it. I think maybe in the future there's going to be a Monster Arts, Godzilla Monster Arts version of this figure. Well, at least of Mecha King Ghidorah. If it will exist, I will try to take a look at it, but those figures are too expensive. So yeah, I recommend it totally, but for what price? That is the really good question. So I paid 15 euros. What should you pay for it? I would say anything that's under 30 euros or $30, because more than that is not really worth it, especially if it's more than $30 and it comes without the tag. So yeah, it's not really worth it then. But if it's under 30 euros or dollars and it comes with tag and it's in neat condition, I recommend you to get it, definitely. I'm really happy with this figure, and well, I hope you enjoy my review. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And see you next time.